You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers and the 49ers, because I am going to talk about Brandon Aiyuk during this video. And being a Niners fan, I said the other day I really don't want to lose him. And if I had to lose one of the two, I'd probably say I'd rather lose Debo than Brandon Aiyuk, and that's only because, well, Debo is 28, Aiyuk is 26. Now, if you're wide receiver star of teams like the Panthers and the Patriots, what are you waiting on with Brandon Aiyuk? If you're the Steelers and you feel like that is the guy that you want to come in, he's going to give George Pickens all kinds of hell in a fight to be the number one wide receiver on that team. He's a really damn good wide receiver. And in case you're wondering, PFF's got him ranked as the second best wide receiver in football for 2023. All right, before we get there, let's get to a little response. I've been talking lately on the channel the last few days that there's some fire now burning out there. It started with a big splash report on an NFL executive that said that they thought Russell Wilson could get cut before the end of training camp or before the start of the season because Justin Fields would beat him out for the job in training camp. Well, you haven't had exactly those same kind of reports, but what you've been seeing is a lot of Justin Fields could end up being the starter at some point during the season. And that narrative's really starting to fly out there now. So I think the thought process is obviously Steelers got to evaluate him to determine whether or not they want to give him another contract. All right? And he's going to have a fifth-year option. He would have to ball out to get that $25 million option. All right? Which means he's probably going to have to play 12, 13 games to be able to put up the kind of numbers that's going to warrant that. And for the Steelers to know they absolutely got a starting quarterback in Justin Fields going forward for years to come. Now, Russell Wilson's supposed to be the starter. And there's been talk that Russell Wilson, they're interested in giving him a long-term contract. Nobody knows exactly what to believe right now. So, ESPN, former NFL general manager Mike Tannenbaum thinks the Fields trade is the best move of the offseason. You're seeing this in a lot of places. Number one, Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Very shrewd. Didn't give up hardly anything. Remade the quarterback room. And you got a rookie deal that you're working off of. You got a $1.2 million deal you're working off of with Russell. Omar Khan did a great job here. Now, I know I saw Mark Sanchez come out and say, well, both quarterbacks could cancel each other out. Look, whoever's playing the best will end up getting the job and keeping the job. That's all there is to it. Now, there's a world where they could both not be good, I guess. But let's see, PFF's got Russell at 18 and Justin Fields at 21. Of your quarterbacks out of 38 in the league, so right in the middle. By far, to me, the best move of the NFL offseason is Justin Fields for a conditional pick. He's 25 years old and he's thrown 40 touchdowns. In a month, all these teams are going to take a crapshoot on quarterbacks. He's not wrong. Tannenbaum said Friday, this is a guy, look at there's some flaws. He's got to clean up his sacks. I understand that. But he has high character. He had absolutely nothing to work with. And to me, to get with Mike Tomlin, that defense, I think that is by far the best move in the NFL, and I expect him to be there a long time and to beat out Russell Wilson this year and be the starting quarterback. Okay, so there's another one. Another NFL analyst that says Justin Fields is going to beat out Russell for that job. That's very interesting. Dan Orlovsky thinks the Wilson-Fields quarterback battle is going to come down to whoever fixes their fatal flaw, which is holding on to the ball too long and taking unnecessary sacks. Quote, who's going to take less ridiculous sacks? Man, they both got a ton of them. The last 2 seasons, it is nuts how many sacks both these guys got. In the last 2 seasons, Russell has taken 100 sacks. Justin Fields has taken 99. No other quarterback in the NFL has taken more than 80. Yikes. You want to talk about drive killers. So who could get that out of their game just a little bit? Justin, I would be more inclined because he's younger, Orlovsky said. And which one of these 2 guys get rid of the negative plays? Negative plays are sacks, fumbles, interceptions. Here's another one. Justin Fields, the last 2 seasons, has 145 negative plays. Russell Wilson, 135. No other quarterback in the NFL has 115. So you're intrigued, you're encouraged, but which one of these guys get rid of the fatal flaws in the game more consistently? It's not a bad question to ask, and, you know, I don't want to be doomsday on this, but there's a world where they come out of this and they're like, neither one of these guys is the guy. I mean, you could say that. The Bears determined it. And now Greg Cosell and Ross Tucker were talking about Justin Fields and how nobody in the league thought the guy was still a starting quarterback and how surprising that was. But we also got to remember, and I was thinking that while they were talking about it, we also got to remember the Bears general manager messed up the trade market on Justin. The Raiders were ready to make a deal to make him their quarterback or at least compete to be their starter, and Ryan Poles blew it. Okay, so anyway, let's get to Brandon Aiyuk. Soft trade market could help the Steelers and Brandon Aiyuk chase. Okay, so here's the deal. A lot of people are thinking that this might not take a lot of capital to get Brandon Aiyuk, okay, because of some of the trades that's happened recently. You know, a third-rounder is among the highest compensation exchange in a player-for-pick trade this offseason. All-pro linebacker Brian Burns was traded for a second-rounder, but every other player traded has done so far lackluster returns. Carlton Davis and 2 other picks got the Buccaneers a third. Morgan Moses, Keenan Allen went for a 4th. Sam Howell and a 4th returned a 3rd. The same for Kenny Pickett. Mac Jones netted a 6th. Joe Mixon traded for a 7th rounder. It sure seems like that for whatever the reason, the players that teams want to trade are not being valued highly in the open market. That could be good news for the Steelers if they're serious about their pursuit for the 49ers wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk. The 49ers reportedly asked the Jags for pick number 17 and Zay Jones for Aiyuk earlier in the offseason. The Jags shot them down. It seems clear now the 49ers won't get the level of return for Aiyuk, but how low will the market go? And in case you're wondering, this is The Athletic. And I believe it's Matt Burrows. Let me just check. Yeah, it is Matt Burrows. He covers the Niners. This guy asked, is Brandon Aiyuk going to get traded before the draft? His sense is, yes, that's my sense. Just go back 2 years ago when Debo was agitating for a trade. The 49ers kept their phone lines open before and during the draft to see what kind of offers Samuel would bring. They got draft day proposals from the Jets and Lions, but the 49ers didn't budge. They were solid offers, especially the Jets. I heard the Jets was a pretty good offer, but the 49ers needed to be blown away to let go of Samuel, who was coming off an incredible 2021 campaign. I think a similar scenario is in play for Aiyuk, who has excellent chemistry for Brock Purdy. The 49ers will listen to offers, but it will take something monumental to let him go. So they may be asking too much, and maybe the Steelers can't step in there. But it sounds like if it's going to happen, it's going to happen possibly even the day of the NFL draft or during the draft itself. So like before the draft starts, whatever. I know it was during the draft when the Lions and the Jets were heavy on Debo, and Debo almost got shipped out. It came really close. And so there's a lot of fire around the Steelers. And there's been some things on social media. Brandon Aiyuk, saying things to Mike Tomlin. Of course, everybody's got to watch tampering, but, everybody talks to everybody, so I don't know how they handle that. But nonetheless, that's interesting. So Mike Tannenbaum believes ultimately Justin Fields takes the job from Russell Wilson this year too. Hey, there's a lot of smoke starting to come from that fire. And, I tend to believe one of two things, and I said this the other day, that's happening. Either somebody's agent is saying something, all right, trying to get it out in the media, get people talking about it, or somebody with the coaching staff is putting that out there to sort of get the fan base and everybody lubricated for the idea that they look up and Russell Wilson's lost his gig. All right? And I'm sure the Steelers are very aware, as am I, there's a big fan base for both of these quarterbacks. One of them's going to end up not being very happy. And I think Arthur Smith, younger quarterback, his system, God, how do you not figure out what you got with that kid, Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.